Alright, hey y'all. I'm at a new spot and the internet is bad, but I usually have my streams at a lower quality. So I should ideally be able to do this. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. So let's see, today I'm going to try to see if I can make some cryptids. Now there's a cartoon that I'm planning on making that I basically planned everything out already, and there's going to be like a lot of these cryptids in it, so I'm going to just go ahead and make some of them now. I think I might make two, like make one as they are now, and then make like a cartoonified version. One good for cartoons and stuff. Right, so alright, now let's see. Let's draw something like this. One is called a snallygaster. My S's are still broken. Alright, so let's see. Basically, it's this big bird reptile thing. Alright, it's this big bird reptile thing that can do like a whole cacophony of stuff. Alright. Well, so we're gonna go to this. Like, this is one of the few cryptids that was somewhat rooted in racism, and then it like was actually like not racist, and then some racists started using it, and then it stopped being racist again. So that kind of worked out for the best. But it did have like a pretty upsetting middle to it. Alright, so let's see. Alright, let's see. Can I move these over? Let's move over those two. And in fact, I should make those a little smaller, but I'm not gonna do all that right now. Alright, that should be enough room. Sup, Dumpling? Sup, Ape Green? Welcome to the stream, both of you, and also hi. Hi, Nvidia, how are you? I'm doing fine, how are you? I'm hoping the stream, like, works. It should be good, though. Alright, so let's see. It's actually... I think I can get away with making that smaller. So let's actually do that quickly. Only gave myself 1,000 pixels, 2,000 pixels across. But I think that should be a fine amount. Right, so let's do that. And then let's do that. I was thinking about making these guys have like 6 limbs, but decided not to bother with all that. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. Actually have like some references to this one. They're supposed to only have one eye, but I don't think that makes much sense, but I guess it could work. And so let's see. Let's do a neck kind of like that, and then just that. Personally, I'm wondering if, like, I should even have the tin look kind of like a bird. It could work, though, so I'm just gonna do those wings for now, because I think that could work. I was thinking about doing bat wings originally. That doesn't seem like all that necessary. Alright, so let's go to about here. That should be good. Yeah, I'm doing this in 4s. I should do it in 3s. So, yeah, if it cuts out at any moment, know that it's probably because of the internet. Alright, so let me see. I got that. Gonna see by shrinking this down to 3 and see if that's about the same size. So perfect. I'm trying to figure out like how exactly I want this guy to look. I know I want his legs to kind of look like this since it's more kind of bird-like. I got here. Sup, Galactic? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing cryptids. So cryptids are basically these mythical creatures, but no one knows if they exist or not. More likely than not, they don't, but it's fun to imagine. So I'm basically doing this, and then I'm gonna do that. Alright, so let's do this. Let's just add some claws to this bird. I think they call it talons if it's on birds, but I can't recall exactly. Alright, so. There are some other stuff I should be doing now, but I really want to do this. So let's do that and that. Also, I don't think I said it already, but I'm not certain. But welcome to the stream, Galactic. And so let me do that and this. Right, so let's do one arm, not one leg, I mean. Kind of like that. Let's do this. Let's just have that go kind of straight down. Right, that works. And one movie that I recently watched finally is Sinners, and it is really good. I like it. It's about these vampires set in the 1920s. And it was a pretty good movie. And, as a bonus, it wasn't as racist as I thought it was going to be. So that worked out. Well, still racist, but not that way racist. Alright, so let's do this, this, and then we could do this. Going right around here. Actually, let's move that back and right down to here. Here we go. Alright, so. Do you know cryptids are based on animals? Yep. I knew that. Like this one is based off of a bird slash lizard slash octopus. I think that's interesting. Alright, so let me do that. Alright, so let me do that and then get this right there. Excellent. And let's actually do a nice little tail here. But yeah, the internet where I am is very bad now. So like, just to let you know, Galactic, it might not last too long, the stream, but I will try to keep it going as long as possible. Alright, so. Yeah, these wings are not big enough. Alright, let's just make their wings quite a bit bigger. Alright, so let's do that. Cut that to there and here. Alright. Alright, that's a little bit better. And so let's just connect it up. Alright, there we go, and there we go. Alright, so I'm gonna, my internet is the same thing. Yeah, it's like that a bunch of places, I guess. Alright, so let's see. I'm not making this creature one-to-one. Just add in my own, like, slight spin to it. For example, even though there are tentacles there, I feel like it would be kind of more interesting with talons, kind of like plug mount parts. Let's see how it looks first. Alright, so let's see this and that. So let's do that. I'm gonna try to keep it simple by using only 3 segments. Alright, so let's do that, that, and that. Alright, so let's actually do the head first. So let's do this. Let's do that for the eyes. Just a slight bump right there for the beak, and then this. Alright, so let's do this. I kind of like just insect mount parts. Let's see. These look better like closed, kind of like this. So this would be kind of like how that would look. Like that. This just as an example of how it would likely look like that. Just gonna add more though. Yeah, so kind of like that. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, that will work. Let me put this over to here. Let's actually lower them out a little bit. The bottom jar, at least. Alright, so let's do that. Put this to here. Alright, so I think that works. Bought new internet a year ago, yet still have connection problems. Yeah, the internet, it can be like odd in like a lot of places. Alright, so let's see. Personally, I think I made the beak a little bit too large, or maybe I should have shortened it a little bit. Or I could just make these like way big. Yeah, that could work. Alright, so let's actually just erase the whole thing. Since they're easy to draw. So let's do that, and cut. Right, there we go. So let's do this, this, this. Now let's erase that part and do here. I think this looks a little bit better than the tentacles, but I'm not certain. You need to go and get analog signal. It's powerful enough to reach many places. Yeah, I can see that. Analog is like a lot more like reliable. Alright, so we're gonna add this right here. Actually, let's do it the other way around. Alright, so I think that's fine like that. Let's also do one more big one over to here. And just big, meaty claws for its mouth. So what is this cryptid called? This one is called a Nalligator. Replace the Z with an S, and that's basically it. It's common. It was common in like West Virginia, so they say. This only eats children, so they say. Then they changed it, like during a certain era, they changed it to only eat a certain kind of person, which is racist. But then they changed it so it just wanders around. And I think that's what they think of it now, so that's worked out for the best. Alright, so let's do that, and then, let's see. Got all kinds of cryptids planned. So let's do this. I don't know if this exact one is going to be in the series, but I might. I know this one's going to be. In fact, this one is also going to be in my comic book, Fairly Destitute. Alright, so those are the only two pictures I got. The rest of them are like so common, I actually remember how they're supposed to look. Yeah, most of this looks kind of bird-like, so I don't know. I think maybe just having like the top part be kind of covered in feathers could be interesting. So let's do that. I'm gonna do. He got some really thick front arms. Alright, so let's do that. Make it slightly smaller on this side. And since this guy, he's just like an animal. He doesn't really need anything that can qualify as thumbs. So even though he does kind of have some. So let's do that, and then this. There we go. And there we go. It's this cryptid eat black people because he eats certain people. Yeah, they said that back in the day during the Jim Crow era. Before that, it only ate children. Then it went to eating them. And then, now it's back to eating just about anyone. So I think that worked out for the best, because I think it's ridiculous that a creature would discriminate in that way. I feel like it would just eat anyone. That just makes the most sense to me. Alright, so let's put that there and put this here. And let's see. Let's actually erase a little bit of this too, just to make it look a little bit more like classy. Alright, so we got that there and this here. I'm gonna draw like a feather texture. Don't really know how the feathers would look, so let's see. Can draw it like slightly to a right angle. So let's do that, and let's actually erase that because I think that would mess up the texture a bit. So let's go to here. That should be good enough. Alright, so let's make this a little bit bigger. Alright, so let's take that down to 2. There are other ways to like do the feather better. This way is the best way to me. So just treat the feathers kind of like their leaves. And that should work out pretty fine. So let's actually do this. Do this. What the F? Do this. Alright, there we go. Right. Because there's no need to draw in like all of that. So it's a bird, lizard, bugton. Precisely. Yeah, cryptids, they don't make too much sense, but for this one, I have like plans for it, maybe, that could make it make a little bit more sense. Because I have an idea to make this be like from a different dimension where like bug and animals combine and mix with each other. I think that could be interesting. Alright, so let me do that and just add a reg to it. Alright, so that looks good so far. Let's add a little bit more feathers. Then I'll just decrease to a smaller one. Alright, so that works there. Alright, so let's decrease the line to just one. Alright, one there, and one there. There we go. And I think that should work out fine. You know, the Flatwoods monster. Yeah, I heard about it. Let me change the color of this. And so that should work out fine. Let's see about here. Oh, my ears. Okay. Let's see. Let's do slightly orange looking color. Like, what color would like a lizard fella have? Right, let's go with, let's see. I'm doing like the secondary color. You should kind of see what it's gonna be. So I think that works. I can make it kind of work that way. Right, so that works like that. And let me put this here. Actually, let me duplicate this one, put it in the back. Move this one down and fuse it, and copy. Right, so that looks like it should be good. Oh, what the heck? Alright. Right, so that works. This does like a slight position offset, but that works just fine like that. Let's see. The color would be darker to blend the dark. Yeah, that makes sense. If I remember correctly, the Flatwoods monster had kind of like this frill tint behind his head. That was kind of interesting. Alright, let me see. Right, I think that could work like that. Let's actually change the color of this slightly. Actually, why not? Let's make the texture for that too. Actually, no. I changed my mind already, just like that. Alright. Alright, so I think this could be pretty lizard colored. Yeah, that works for me. So let's do that. But yeah, I really find it interesting the way animals camouflage. It's pretty neat to me. Like, there's been like a bunch of times where I look for animals in a picture and they are just nowhere to be seen. They are right there, but it's just they still can't be seen anyway. I think that's interesting. Alright, so let's do that. Let me turn the music up a teeny bit. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so let's see. Let's actually make the beak slightly more yellow. feel like it could have more of these little like antenna mounts, but I think that's fine. That Woods was a barn owl scared by the locals. Yeah, I figured as much. Let me see. Actually was thinking, excuse me. Actually was thinking about like making it kind of like that, where its legs are yellow, kind of like a bird's legs. I'll keep it. It looks interesting to me. And so let me do that. I'm gonna actually increase this to brush too. Just add like some lines to it. How does this tin eat? Well, this looks like a predator. I haven't done too much research on it, but this tin looks like a predator. So what I think is it probably goes and eats stuff, like it catches all kinds of animals and then pops them like as high as it can and then just drops them. Because there are some hawks that do that in real life. So I think it would be pretty cool if this guy did it too. So like he just grabs them, lifts them into the air, drops them, then comes back and just scoops them up. Why his mount looks like that, I don't know. There's no logical reason for this tin. This tin just exists. Alright, so let's see. I forgot, but I should have had this be part of it too. Alright, so let's do that, and let's do... Alright, so that should be good. Alright, so I'm actually gonna do literally the exact same texture. So we're gonna do this. That. Except with this one, I'm gonna make it a tad darker. Alright. Oh, that's right. Alright, so I think that should work. I will create Cryptid, Baskin, Shark, create Globster. Yeah, there is an owl cryptid. I actually made one a long time ago called a Chickcharney. I was gonna use it in the thumbnail. I think I did, but actually I probably went with a werewolf. But it's basically this owl creature. Yeah, so that's basically how it would look. And the claws already look good in the background. I just need to... If I ever, like, use this in a different spot, I can just remember to do that. Alright, so... That's good. First 30 minutes or so done with that. So, what do you think about, like, cryptids? Are there any cryptids that you believe could be real? I am not hearing anything. Let me put this back up a little. Man, this bunny is cute, ain't it? Cutest little bunny. Alright, so let's do that. Let's actually make the nose a little bit smaller. Not really gonna go for anything realistic. Just making a cute little rabbit type creature. I was gonna blacken out his eyes completely, but let's give this guy a little bit more substance in his eyes. Alright, so let's actually make his eyes kind of blue. Because I remember seeing a rabbit with blue eyes once, and I was so confused. It turns out they do just have that sometimes. Thought someone just like put contact lenses in there. Alright, so. The Mothman and Flatwoods could be real. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. With the Mothman, I remember drawing him once a long time ago, but I could not name the stream where it happened. But the Flatwoods monster, I don't think I ever drew him, like not even once. And so let me do this and that. And hopefully this rabbit looks kind of cute. And for this bunny, I like to have just a little something right here. Just like a little bit of a patch of hair. Right there. I think that just does wonders. Alright, so let's actually move that to right here. Now let's do one more bunny right here. One more bunny ear. So, let's do this. Then we're going to add the horns to him. Well, I'm going to. Alright, so let's see. I think the horns should be a little bit bigger. But nah, it's fine. So we're gonna have this at this angle, this here, that there, then that there. Alright, let's decrease that to 2s. This guy doesn't really have whiskers, to be honest. But I'm still gonna give him some anyway. So let's do that. I like it better with just a dot, so I'm gonna put it to there. Alright, there we go, back to trees. Alright, let's do our jackalope sitting down too. So, gonna have the foot go up to here. Gonna go to this. And to this. And let's erase that right there. Maybe he's like about to jump or something. Think I messed up somewhere along here, but I'm gonna keep it going. But yeah, that Sinners movie was absolutely wild. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's pretty good. And so I'm gonna add just those little pars right there. So let's do that. Do a bit of this, and that should be good. Just put that there. So got that. The other foot can be right over there. Let's actually expand that to about here. Yeah, this guy looks messed the heck up, but I still like him. I think it can easily be alleviated if I just do something kind of like that. Like just to show that it's not, it's just like a little bit too front facing, you know? Like let me just do that, increase that, and just go to about here. Yeah, it looks a little bit better now. West Virginia was always a cryptic state, right? To my knowledge, it was. There are cryptids all over America, and they actually have them like all over the world too. I think the most common, like well-known cryptid over here would be Bigfoot. The I think the most, I think that one. I don't know if it exists now, but scientists say that it is the most likely one to have existed. They call it the Anthropopithecus. It's something pretty close to that, or Hyperlipithecus is one of them. It has a cuss somewhere in there, but this tin is basically like Bigfoot. It was this giant ape around 10 feet tall, like something like 3 meters, and it was just crazy big. So, and that was something that actually existed in real life. So I think that's pretty wild, and if that can exist, then who knows? Maybe Bigfoot could be a tin. And so let's see. Let's actually get rid of the collar in these horns and have some actual color in it. Right, so let's make this rabbit kinda like that. I think that could work. Let's see. I think I'll probably do most of the bottoms are this color too. Bigfoot was a bear lawn they walk on too. Yeah, I know, like, especially the short-faced bear, that one walks on too, like, rather often. Like, with the ways people seen him, it looks kind of weird when it walks like any other way. Like, when it's... Let me put that right there. Right there. Wonder if this guy needs some cheeks on the other side. Doesn't really seem necessary. Alright, so let's actually make this white. There we go. Yeah, I barely needed the room for this guy. Let's go back and add the sign to this guy's eyes. Not gonna do like any shading for any of them. This guy is just gonna be a frog man. It's basically like a wolf man, except it's a frog. So these guys, from what I read about them, they're only 3 feet tall, and other than that, basically not much of a difference from a frog, other than they stand on 2 legs and stuff. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so I'm gonna add this like so. I'm gonna try to like make kind of like a tree frog. I don't think that specific cryptid looks like that, but I just want to make one. Alright, so I'm gonna do that. I think I made his eye a tad too big. Alright, I'm just gonna roll with it. Yeah, this guy, he don't look nothing like a frog, but I'm gonna keep on going with him. It's an interesting creature design. Maybe I use it for like a cartoon one day. A little animation of his own. And let's add those weird looking eyes frogs have sometimes. Alright, let's add a teeny bit more personality to the frog by increasing the brush size and just making him kind of just do his eyes like in a friend's little motion. I think that works. Alright, so I think I'm actually gonna, let's see. That's fine like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the arms now. I'll erase that part in a bit. Alright, so let's do this, that, this. And he's just gonna have his cute little frog arms right here, frog hands with his frog-like fingers. Alright, so let's do that. We're gonna give him some nice little frog tongue right there. And then there's that somewhat hat. Sup, Paul? Cool, for subs. I liked. Thank you, Paul. I'm glad you did. Welcome to the team. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw this. I'm drawing a nice little hand. That's from I remember that's a quote from that three-eyed monkey. I forget the exact name of that production company, but it's out of business now. But they did make Jimmy Neutron. That was an awesome show. Right, so right now I am Paul. Yeah, that's awesome. Alright, so let's see. I feel like I didn't make this frog a bit too chubby. Then again, it is a frog, so who am I to judge? So I'm gonna do that, and then I think I'm actually gonna make it go to right here. And let me erase this part. Oh, production. Oh, so that's the name of it. Alright, so let's do his arms to about right here. I don't know why I always like to have my characters like do kind of like a waving motion. Let's do that. This. Alright, so let's do his arms, his hands first. And so this, that, there. Have you drawn Paul before? I haven't drawn Paul before. In fact, I could try to draw him from memory, if you like. Alright, so let's see. I'm assuming you mean... What was that sound? Oh, that was the song. Okay. But yeah, I could try to, like, draw him from memory. All I know is Paul got 3 eyes. He was a snazzy gentleman. And so let's see. That's pretty decent. Does that look like that? Alright, it does from that angle. So that works. Just do that. This. Gotta make sure it's webbed still. Let's see. Why? Yeah, he could just do like that. Alright, sure. Alright, that sounds cool. Alright, so I'm just gonna color this guy in first and then I will draw Paul. Actually, surprisingly enough, the nut weighs a lot of space with this one. So that is great. Alright, so we're gonna do that. And make a cat emoji. Alright. That's neat. Frogs, they usually have some nice little legs on them. They have the legs of a sailor. Like one of those tins that you can just rip their legs right off and eat them. But I'm only typing, but no going to emojis. Alright. Yeah, that reminds me, there is a feature on YouTube Actually, sailor isn't the right word. I guess like sumo wrestler would be more accurate. There are some tins like with these fancy legs that looks just like frog legs but different. I'm gonna have this guy just have legs kind of like this. And like so. I'm just gonna give him 3 though. And it's a little too thick. Let me thin that out a bit. Right. And this is how I might make it look in a future to be determined episode of my cartoon. Paula, hi, I forgot the line. Personally, my favorite one is when Paul said, "Hi, where Paul?" because they cloned him. From what I remember, Paul, the only thing off about him was his eyes. The rest of him looked like a relatively normal chimpanzee. So let's see. Let's actually gonna make it so that this guy just has one foot just kicked up for no reason whatsoever. Alright, so let's do that. Then let's do this.
My time has come to burn. I invoke the ancient power that I may return. In a void bordering 3 worlds, I have awoken, and I'll see the barriers between them.
And then let's do this. Alright, let's see. Sorry if I don't look at chat too often. I'm still gonna look at it. Just focusing a little bit on this. Alright, so got that there. Got that. And I feel like this would make a pretty cool cartoon character. So maybe I'll make one with him one day. So let's color him in. I remember drawing frogs like relatively often back in the day. Alright, so let me see. Let's do that. Oh, that reminds me of this one stream. There was this guy who I was like doing like drawing anything requests back in the day, anything in 5 minutes or less, and they wanted me to draw so many frogs. It was nice. I still don't know why exactly they wanted me to do that, but I think it was pretty cool. Alright, so let me put that there. Still remember some of the drawings. They wanted me to draw like Arthur, like the cartoon character Arthur as a frog. Draw DW as a frog, all kinds of people as frogs. Actually, I think the eye should probably be a little bit different, but other than that, that's good. So let's do that, just to give a nice shine to his eye. And yeah, there we go. Right now, let's draw Paul. The episode is Paul missing camera. It's like Paul. Yeah, I remember that episode of Jimmy Neutron. I can't remember like what happened in that episode. I just remember that scene happening. I also can't remember if like the episodes were randomized with Paul, or like Paul was like tied to each specific episode. Like, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Yeah, it does. The frog does have that kind of vibe to him. In fact, let me just give him like a little top hat. And then I'm gonna do I'm gonna do Paul. And so that looks good like that. Let's just do that. It's not much of a top hat, but it's still a pretty decent one. Let's just do that and that. Hey, there we go. Alright, so let's see. Paul. Oh yeah, Paul. I can't believe I forgot. Alright, so I'm gonna do this completely from memory. So he's gonna look all kinds of messed up. But yeah, so that's basically what's gonna happen. And so first 30 minutes was just drawing this guy, and then I drew these guys in almost 30. But I'm proud that I improved in that amount of time. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw like a regular chimp, and then I'm gonna draw Paul. Excuse me. So I should just make all of this white. Alright, so let's do that. Do you have a strong memory, like photographic memory? I have a horrible memory, but I do remember faces pretty decently. But like I said, I haven't seen Paul in many years. So he's not gonna look anything like himself. Except for the 3 eyes. I was gonna have like some sharp teeth there, like for the canines, because chimps do, in fact, have canines too. But I decided not to. So we're gonna do that. And let me see. Yeah, he does have nice teeth. So we're gonna have this here. I'm just gonna have like, kind of like Paul in my style. He's not gonna look anything like the actual Paul. He's just gonna look like from what I remember. Kind of like the Frogman. Like this Frogman doesn't really look anything like an actual frog, but he's just my style of him. Alright, so let's see. Let's go and do Paul. So let's do that. And then he had one eye right in the middle, because he was always like awoken. Right, so let's see. If I remember correctly, Paul had kind of orangey eyes, like slightly dark orange, and that works. I think it would be funny if y'all like went and like looked up Paul, like after I'm done, to see how close I got it from memory. Because I know I'm not gonna get it very close, but I just like doing that. I usually don't work from references, but I did for the first 2 because I can't remember how exactly I wanted them to look. Because the Snallygaster is like a specific way to draw that. I couldn't remember how it would be.
These games are starting to
Alright, so I'm gonna also do this and do this and do that.
Instead of just one
Then I believe it was connected kind of like so.
That's my playground.
But yeah, this guy is gonna look so messed up. I don't think the fur, like the meat part, was connected, but I'm still gonna add that. Imagine Paul was an African cryptid. Well, yeah, it's DNA Productions made, Paul. My bad. Yeah, no worries. So I'm gonna do that. Gonna add a little bit of hair for Paul. Now let's do his ears. Yeah, I'm not really good with ears. I rarely draw them. So we're gonna do that. Let's actually do like a small bit of the ears on this side. So let's do that. Alright, that's good. Alright, so looks close, but the face is off. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna look exact or anything like that. I think I'm probably just gonna do Paul's head, but I'm gonna just do like a DNA strand. And so let's see. Yeah, I could just do one kind of like this. Let's just make it thick. And then let's do that, that. And then, which way should I make it thick? Right, just do that. I've already committed to it, so I'm gonna just go with it. I've never made DNA before, so we're just gonna do that and this, and then I'm just gonna erase the parts that I don't want. Right, his eyes are closer to the mouth, and his nose is closer to his eyes. All right. I don't see why not. Let's go ahead and just move this eyes down a little bit. So let's go to about right here. His eyes are closer apart. I mean, closer together. So let's do that. Like just right there. And right here. I kind of like the size of the eyes though, so I'm probably going to keep the eyes like that. But I'm going to fix this right now. So let's increase that to 5. My DNA is an 8-year-old. That's cool. I never really made one or like ever drew one. I'm actually surprised that I haven't. Alright, so let's see. Let's actually move this to about here. Just so it makes a tad more sense. But one thing I do remember about DNA Productions is the DNA was purple. I don't remember many things, but that I do remember. Alright, so. Well, it was like a bright purple, kind of violet. Right. Cool. Also, if you are a sci-fi fan, you could draw DNA. Yep. Yeah, basically doing like DNA from how I remember seeing it on. I'm making one a little bit too close to that. It's supposed to loop around in a way. Right. So let's do that. And then erase this one here. Alright, so that's good. And then, actually, no, let's do that here. And then let's just go back down to trees. And then I'm gonna do the DNA with the connection bits. So let's do, just move the head to here and to here. So it was around like this purple. Actually, it was slightly more vibrant, but that works. Right, now just need to add some of the connectors. Right. Will you make an edit of me, Galactic? Okay, link your channel, so I want to see what your face looks like. Alright. I don't know like how YouTube processes links, but sometimes the links don't exactly work. So like Paul, just go to like one of my other videos. Just go to one of them and just leave a comment so that Galactic could find you easier. Just go to one of the other videos and say hi, like my most recent video. That way Galactic could find you real easy, since links don't work. Alright, so let me go ahead and do this. And this. Look at me drawing this. Alright, but let's see. I just, sometimes links, they don't work on YouTube channels. I don't know what it's about, but it just does that sometimes. So let me do that, and then this. Bloop, bloop. Try to delete it, no worries. Bloop. And let's just have one on the outskirts of it, right here. I'm actually gonna make this a tad more pink, even though it's supposed to be purple. Really is something how like this little, a whole buttload of these little guys are just inside of every single entity. Nature is so fascinating. I know they don't look exactly like this, but it's pretty cool looking. And so, let's do that. Yeah, I am amazed I'm actually able to stream, so that's good. But draw a face of yourself, Paul. Alright. I remember him being orange, but I feel like it would be more interesting if he was like slightly purplish hue, kind of like the DNA. So I'm just gonna have that kind of like so. Alright, so that's pretty good. Alright. How productive. Excuse me. Yeah, just like go to like my most recent video and just leave a comment and you will be able to find your channels easier. Because I think YouTube, for some stupid reason, just like disallowed people to like even like click on other channels to like visit them while on the stream. I think that's just completely ridiculous. But apparently it's a thing. Alright, so let's see. Let's see, for sirens. Sirens are basically, for any of you that don't know, they're basically these women who live in the ocean and they use their calls to lure men in there with them. So I was thinking, what if, like, sirens, instead of them luring in the men to, like, eat them, since that just doesn't make much sense, what if they just lure them in to, like, try to, like, mate with them and then eat them? And then they just basically drown the male babies, and that's basically how their species propagates. I think that could be an interesting thing. So the goal would be to make them kind of more mammalian looking. Alright, so let's go to trees. Alright, so let's see. Let's actually do something kind of like... I want something that's kind of like has a weird looking mouth to it. Because it can apparently say like all of these wonderful calls and stuff. I don't know where I'm going with this. Alright, so yeah, I don't know why I did that. Alright, bye, Paul. Okay, then let's go to recent video. Alright, so yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Alright, so let's see. First things first, let's do something kind of mammalian looking. Even though since it's going to basically try to breed with humans, it should look more human-like, but And so we're gonna do that. Gonna do a nice little amount of erasing right there. But I am Paul. Alright. So I'm thinking maybe I can make this siren look kind of like an otter. And it would be like trying to like call a human to mate with it. Kind of like a dog would. Except with these guys it would actually work. And so let's do that. So let's do that. Look. Here, where did that link go? I put it before on your recent video. Yeah, the links they don't stick around like on YouTube comments. For some reason, like only the creator it works on. But sometimes the links they get to stay on the channel itself, where I can just go back and like add it in manually. Yeah, YouTube, it's just weird like that. Alright, so let's see. I think that works. Should I make the head go down like that? That's fine. Alright, so we're gonna do that. So that should be good. But yeah, I'll check my list and see if it's there, and if it is there, I will make the comment be known. So I think that works. It's basically a human-sized otter. This also give them like a bigger like throat right there, just because they would have like a amazing like call to them. All right, so we're gonna do that. Let's also do just a tad of this. All right, so just make the shoulders go out to there. Yeah, the sirens, they work in a different way, a nice little mysterious way. And so we're gonna do this. And the neck, it looked kind of dumb. So I'm just gonna have it be inflatable instead. Yeah, I think that would work a lot better. Oh, my bad. Alright, so let's see. See if like there's any neat looking shows on. I doubt it, but maybe. Zombies 4. That movie was nowhere near as bad as I expected it to be. It was alright. Alright, so danger with this trouble. Alright, let's see. Hazardous history. It could be interesting. Let's see how much charges left there. Right, that's fine. Let's go to trade. Murder, she baked. The F? What? Okay. Alright, so let's have the audience be kind of like this. Actually, I think it would be kind of interesting to have their arms go kind of like that. It would just be kind of funny to me. Even though it wouldn't make much sense, but I just feel like it. Considering this is a female creature. This guy's just gonna have 4 fingers. Because I don't really feel like doing all of that right now. So that's good. I'm gonna drink that bit of water. Yeah, I'm glad Paul at least got to see the picture I drew of him before he left. Right. And hopefully he comes by for another stream one day. And so let me do this. A little bit too thick to make it thinner. And let's also have like something like this and like that. Because I think that would work very well. So let's just add some small claws to it. This will basically have like a similar niche to an otter. The irony behind this would be that basically, let me just erase whatever this was. I don't even know. Just like draw that. So what these guys have is basically similar to a frog. They have this croaking noise that has this amazing mythical, like magical properties that basically makes men almost impossible to resist following the sound of that noise. So that's basically the backstory behind them. But women, they are completely immune to it, so they can, if one of them's nearby, they can just go and follow the man, human, and kill the siren before it gets their hands on it. Okay, so we got that, and this. Alright, so let's do that, and that. So, there we go. Alright, so let's add this. I think that instead of like giving them full on legs and stuff, I just think that, because why wouldn't they just leave the land actively to get with the human? So let's just give them like little mermaid legs, so they basically be useless on land. And so it's kind of like a flipper. So let's do that, this and that. These guys are still gonna have their webbed paws and stuff. Alright, let's see. Does this look aquatic enough? It's not going to like breathe underwater or anything. It just holds its breath for a real long time. Alright, let's see. I think it could be fine if I do like a third one. Kind of aquatic, yeah. I think a tail might be a little bit too much for this guy. For this girl, I should say. Right, let's go to tools and do some of this with the flipper action. Tail looks fine, yeah. Alright, so let's see. Just wondering if I should have like the hair going out. That just looks kind of crazy to me. It could work. Let's see. Maybe I'll revisit that after I color her. And so let's see. Let's go to brown. Want it to have like kind of like a aquatic tint to it. Yeah, kind of like that. Alright, now let's make it a bit more blue in those areas. Alright, there we go. Now that's looking better. Let's actually add a bit of lines to represent fur. There we go. Now do the other hand. And there we go. I think it would probably look better around some blue. But other than that, that looks pretty good. Let me just do this. Just want to see how that would look. And so let's actually see how the hair would look with this one. So let's actually do that. Let's make the hair just a little bit more red. So I guess it's kind of like the Little Mermaid now. Do y'all think like its siren call would sound? Supposed to be amazing, but I think it would probably sound like a dolphin. Right, so I think that's pretty good for a siren. So let's go to Bigfoot. I already drew Bigfoot quite some time ago, and he is gonna definitely be in an animated series that I plan on making. Alright, so let's go and do Bigfoot. So far, we did this has been bothering me a bit, so I'm gonna just go and do this. Just some